This comes from NPR sponsor Sierra. How businesses connect with customers defines their brand. Sierra is the platform for building better, more human customer experiences with AI. No stock answers, no hold music, just real solutions fast. Visit Sierra.ai to learn more.
In your reporting, do you think college is viewed as just as important as it used to be?
Catherine, you want to go first?
No, I don't. I mean...
Well, you don't want to go first, or you think it's not viewed as important?
Oh, yeah, no. I do not think that it is perceived to be as important as it once was.
Yeah, I think they're certainly changing in how they think about college, and yet a lot of people are still going.
Hello, hello. I'm Brittany Luce, and you're listening to It's Been a Minute from NPR, a show about what's going on in culture and why it doesn't happen by accident. We are well into the fall semester for many American college students, but increasingly, Americans are wondering, is college still worth it? One recent poll from Gallup shows that the percentage of Americans who view college as very important is at an all-time low, dropping from 75% in 2010 to 35% now. Those who say it's not very important increased from 4% to 24% in the same time period. The most common response, fairly important, sits at around 40% now. Now, this is a pretty dramatic change, but what contributed to our changing perceptions of higher education? What does politics have to do with it? And where do we see this ripple out into our culture? We're getting into it with Alyssa Nadworny, education correspondent for NPR, and Catherine Palmer, reporter for Inside Higher Ed. Alyssa, Catherine, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
What do you think is behind this big shift?
I think a lot of people personally want themselves or their children to go to college because they know the personal benefits. But over the last 10 or 15 years, there's been a lot of factors that have contributed to people perceiving college as less valuable. And I think that has to do with rising costs, big student debt burden. People are worried they won't be able to pay back their loans. I think more recently, we've seen a lot of anxiety over AI taking jobs. What's the point if I get this degree and entry-level jobs are being taken over by AI? I think also there's been a rise of anti-intellectualism.
We've definitely discussed that on this show, yeah.
So I think all of those factors are contributing.
I do want to highlight this one thing that I thought was kind of interesting in that Gallup poll, which is that the majority of Americans still believe that college is important. You know, that was a big drop in that kind of very important or vital category. And yet the majority of Americans, 75%, still think that college is important, either fairly important or very important. And I think that is kind of a distinction worth noting.
I think I definitely grew up with college being highly valued. I mean, for me, when I was growing up, college was never even considered an option or a choice. It was a must. I didn't choose to go to college. My attendance was predetermined and inevitable. I mean, my parents are of a generation of Black American people. They're boomers for whom college was a real pathway to class ascendance and financial security. I'm lucky and even somewhat unusual that my grandparents on my father's side actually attended college because my mother's parents did not have any of the same educational opportunities by any stretch of the means. So college was a big deal, and college actually did change my parents' lives. But with so many students saddled with debt now, the cost-benefit analysis feels like it's shifted for a lot of people.
One of the factors is just this kind of low end of the labor market. And so, for an example, I talked to a student who decided to forego college and work at an Amazon warehouse. He's getting paid $20+ an hour with his high school degree. And that wasn't really an option 10 years ago. That said, I mean, there is still pretty good research that shows long-term, a bachelor's degree or higher is still a better investment on average.
Yeah, and I can also see how long-term investments are great, I think, in many respects, but also like a long-term investment is not going to help the rent get paid today.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's probably on a lot of people's minds as well. I also think about what you were saying earlier, Catherine, about the cost of college. The cost of it itself feels very prohibitive for many people. I mean, I paid off my student loans a few years ago. I had a scholarship, so I ended up not having as many as a lot of other people I know. And it still felt like this monkey on my back that I was never going to get off. And I'll say, I feel like as more of an elder millennial, I was a part of a generation of people that really didn't have, I think, a clear understanding of just how much that bill was going to be due when we finished. But now I feel like younger generations are a little bit more hip to how much college costs.
Well, Brittany, if I may offer a counter to that, it is true that college prices, the sticker prices, can be very high. But colleges also have a problem of not having price transparency. Often they will advertise a very high sticker price, but give, the majority of their students huge scholarships and other financial assistance to where most students aren't paying that much. I'd like to mention a poll from Strata that found that 1 in 5 people substantially overestimate the cost of community college as well as the cost of a 4-year college.
Interesting.
Yeah, according to this poll, let's take community colleges, for example, the total cost of annual attendance is about $6,000 a year. But people in this poll thought that it was more like between around $10,000 to $20,000 a year.
Wow.
And the same for 4-year colleges. 4-year college with everything costs about $20,000 a year on average. And 1 in 5 people believed that it was more than $50,000 a year.
That's interesting. I've also seen, when we're talking about, the very elite, highly selective colleges, I've seen prices be, $80,000 to $95,000 a year. But I hear what you're saying, that most colleges cost less than that. And people, tend to overestimate the cost of all colleges.
Yeah, I've talked to experts about this, and they say it's a psychological marketing tool that, the higher the sticker price, the higher value people assign to the education that they're getting.
Wow, okay.
A big scholarship or financial aid comes with bragging rights that this great expensive college wants me so bad, they're knocking 30 grand off of my 60 grand tuition.
Wow. Alyssa, when we were chatting before this taping, you kind of said maybe colleges are a little bit to blame for this shift in public perception. Say more about that.
Well, okay. The thing is that we have millions of people in the US that have some college and no degree. So they've gone to college, they've stopped out or dropped out for whatever reason. They have debt, and they never got the degree. Now, that's not surprising that a lot of those people would be like, hey, college doesn't seem worth it. College isn't that valuable. It wasn't for me. I've talked to a lot of college presidents who are kind of looking at their really low graduation rates, and they're saying, okay, there's actually a ton of institutional barriers that make this happen. So I was just in conversation with the president of California State University at Sacramento State, and he was saying, students come in to our school and they're like, I'm going to get a psychology degree. They get all their freshman and sophomore year classes. And then they go to junior or senior year, and the classes they need for their major are not available. Isn't that the college's responsibility? I don't know, maybe institutions need to take more ownership over, we said you could come here and get this degree, and it's our job to make sure you get it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I want to add one thing to that point is I talk to a lot of students and colleges who are trying to work on that also by pointing students to how they can use their degree to enter into a career. So some degrees or credentials, those are very obvious. But think about some 4-year degrees that have been criticized as being, useless by some, like a history degree. I was a history major. Or a psychology degree, English. All of these are valuable. They teach you valuable critical thinking skills that make you adaptable in, say, a recession. But a lot of colleges just leave it up to those students to figure out what kind of career they could pursue with that degree, instead of being more proactive with helping them get internships, helping them think about what kind of job you can do with, say, a history degree.
I feel like politics have something to do with this. According to Gallup, the perceived importance of college has declined among all groups, but Republicans are now about twice as likely to say college is not too important as to say it is very important. Another study by the Lumina Foundation and Gallup found that the confidence in higher ed has increased since last year, but the, quote, 38% of Americans who lack confidence in higher education cite politics, with another 32% saying college doesn't teach the right things, end quote. What do you make of that? Like, why is there such a big partisan divide in who thinks of college as valuable?
Yeah, I mean, we did a story just like looking at Trump's speeches from the last 3 years and what he says about college. And here he is at an event in Florida in 2023.
We are going to choke off the money to schools that aid the Marxist assault on our American heritage and on Western civilization itself. The days of subsidizing communist indoctrination in our colleges will soon be over.
This has been a huge part of kind of the MAGA identity of like, we don't need college. College is elitist. The Republican Party more and more is made up of people without college degrees.
The voters, you mean? Yeah.
Yep.
Alyssa, I would add to that, yes, perhaps the Republican Party is increasingly made up of people without college degrees, but some of the loudest voices against college have elite degrees and majored in things like history.
Yeah.
I would point you to the story of Vice President J.D. Vance as a great example. The connections he made at Yale Law School.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty fair statement. He also got his BA in political science and philosophy at Ohio State before attending Yale Law.
After World War II, we had the GI Bill, which gave a lot of people whose families had not gone to college previously, suddenly they had access to go to college, get a career, and join the middle class and experience all the fruits of that. A lot of colleges started integrating and allowing non-white people to attend. And since then, those people have become professionals. They've become professors.
Right.
They've helped to create new academic disciplines like Black studies, women's studies, gender studies, all disciplines that have been criticized for years. And I believe that a big motivation for discrediting college, to me, comes off as a bit of a backlash to this diverse group of students getting access to college.
I wonder, I mean, you know, what does it mean for our culture, which used to believe higher ed was much more important for future success than it does now? Like, what are the new paths to success? If it's not college, how do we help people get ahead?
I think it is college.
I would agree.
Oh,
I think it's college at the local level. I think it's college at the community level. I think it's the college that's down the street from you, because most people stay in the communities they grow up in. So if we can link, what does your community need and what training do you need to do to get those jobs? What are the offerings in your community? I think if that is kind of where we're going, that's how we're going to improve lives across America.
Catherine, Alyssa, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Brittany. This was great.
I have learned so much here. And as a thank you, could you stick around for like 5 more minutes to play a little game with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure.
All right, y'all. When we get back, we're going to play a little game. Stick around.
This message comes from Schwab. Everyone has moments when they could have done better, like cutting their own hair or forgetting sunscreen, so now you look like a tomato. Same goes for where you invest. Level up and invest smarter with Schwab. Get market insights, education, and human help when you need it. Learn more at schwab.com. This message comes from Cook Unity. Chef-crafted meals delivered fully cooked. Just heat and eat in 5 minutes. Menus refresh every week, and new chefs are always joining, so it never gets boring. Subscriptions are commitment-free and start at just $11 per meal. Comfort, nutrition, and award-winning flavor delivered to your door. Go to cookunity.com/meals or enter code MEALS at checkout to get free premium meals for life.
Support for NPR and the following message come from HP. Ready to meet the personal AI assistant that lives right on your PC? Introducing the HP AI PC with AI Companion. Experience working with powerful AI tools at your fingertips, even when you're offline. Analyze multiple documents at once, get key takeaways from long articles, or upload a 50-page contract and ask your PC to summarize the risks. And when you need to analyze sensitive files securely, just switch to on-device mode to keep your data local, private, and secure. With HP AI PCs, you get to focus on creative, strategic work and let AI handle the rest. Because HP believes that with the right tools, work doesn't have to feel like work. Learn more at hp.com/AIPC.
Okay, so we are gonna play a little game I like to call, wait, what?
Wait, what?
We're gonna run through some recent pop culture moments, and you're gonna guess who did what. It's all multiple choice. Each answer gets a point. Person with the most points wins. And, you know, the prize is bragging rights. If you're ready, please scream into the microphone and let me know.
Ready.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. I like that. We had some gusto. Okay, round one. Which celebrity said last week, "What I'm feeling goes beyond myself. It's for those who came before me and ran countless yards so I could come in and score a touchdown. This is for my people, my culture, and our history." Was it A, Travis Kelce, B, Patrick Mahomes, or C, Bad Bunny?
C, Bad Bunny. Halftime show, baby?
I'm going to go with C as well.
All right, well, the answer is C, Bad Bunny. Yes. Alyssa, you get the point because you were first. He announced that he'll be playing the Super Bowl halftime show next year. A lot of folks are expecting it to be subversive. He has not minced words about how he feels about American rule of Puerto Rico or playing here on the mainland. But I wonder, who is your dream halftime show performer?
I gotta say Britney Spears.
Well, I'm not really a football person, so I'm just going to say my dream performer to see would be Paul Simon. I don't know if he's still doing shows.
Wow.
But I don't think he really fits the football vibe.
Bridge over troubled water? Is that me and Julio down by the schoolyard?
But yeah, I don't think that fits. I'm fresh out of ideas for the Super Bowl halftime show.
Listen, I mean, no, you gave a fresh idea, okay? That's the one I hadn't thought of. I want to see Janet back. I'm like, I want to see Janet back. I want to see Janet shown respect. Like, maybe we'll play a big video on the Jumbotron of that one time Justin was performing in D.C. and he asked the crowd to beat their feet. Horrifying stuff, if you've ever seen it. Okay, round two. Two public figures recently hashed out their beef. One said to the other of something they didn't like, "Was silence not an option?" Who were the two figures? A, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. B, Cardi B and Bia. Or C, Ezra Klein and Ta-Nehisi Coates.
I'll say C.
I don't know.
You got to pick something.
I guess I would say Nicki and Cardi.
The answer was, in fact, C. Catherine, you get the point. Yes, Ezra Klein and Ta-Nehisi Coates.
That was a joke answer for me.
No, it was the real answer.
Wow, tell us.
So they had a very public sort of intellectual feud over a piece Klein wrote praising the way Charlie Kirk did his politics. Coates went on Klein's podcast to talk it out, and there was definitely discourse on the discourse. I have a question. If you were beefing with someone, would you go on their podcast?
Yeah, air it out.
I would. I'm a fan of the discourse.
You're a fan of the discourse. I would, but it's because I love righteous conflict. All right. Well, last round. Reese Witherspoon was on the Las Culturistas podcast recently, talking about one of her friends who she says calls her up randomly and says things like, quote, "Reese, we must go on a girls' trip. I have to have a tequila. We have to. We must." So I must know, Which of Reese Witherspoon's friends do you think has to have a tequila? Is it A, Jennifer Aniston, B, Jennifer Coolidge, or C, Nicole Kidman?
Jennifer Coolidge.
Catherine says Jennifer Coolidge. What do you say, Alyssa?
Yeah, I feel like it's a Legally Blonde flashback.
The answer is actually C, Nicole Kidman.
Oh my God.
Yes. On this podcast, on Las Culturistas, Reese also went on imitating Nicole, saying that her and Reese are, quote, property girlies. We love to buy property. I'm like, Give me a property. I don't have a property. Give me one.
Didn't Nicole Kidman just file for divorce?
Yes. Nicole Kidman is parting from her man.
Wild, though. They've been together for so long.
I know. But you want to know something.
Tell me.
There's a recent photo of Nicole Kidman from a Chanel Fashion Week show. I think she's like stepping out of a car or something like that. She's got this beautiful like Chanel and like Charvet like button-down shirt. And she looks refreshed,
Wow.
revamped, restarted, refocused. So I don't know. I'm ready for Nicole to go up and up. I'm ready. All right. That's it for, wait, what? I would love to congratulate either one of you on your win, but we actually came to a tie with this game. So we're going to have you back to break that tie.
Ooh, I like that.
I look forward to that.
Catherine, Alyssa, thank you both so much for joining me today.
Oh, it was so fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Alyssa Nadworny, education correspondent for NPR, and Catherine Palmer, reporter for Inside Higher Ed. And you all know I love hearing from you. And I just want to shout out one comment I read this week on our episode about the culture of squeamishness around colon cancer. Spotify user Twin479 wrote, I'm 34 and have a colonoscopy/endoscopy scheduled for Friday. Listening to this episode reminded me why I need to follow through on the prep and appointment and not chicken out. Thank you. Twin479, I hope your appointment went well, and I am so glad you're taking care of yourself and your health. And I love hearing what you all connect with in these episodes. So wherever you're listening, drop a comment or review, and you might just hear me shout you out right here on the show. This episode of It's Been a Minute was produced by
Liam McBain.
This episode was edited by
Nina Patak.
Our supervising producer is
Barton Girdwood.
Our executive producer is
Verilyn Williams.
Our VP of programming is
Yolanda Sanguini.
All right, that's all for this episode of It's Been a Minute from NPR. I'm Brittany Luce. Talk soon.
This message comes from Jackson. Let's face it, retirement planning can be confusing. At Jackson, we're working to make retirement clear for everyone, starting with you. Our easy-to-understand resources and user-friendly digital tools help simplify your entire experience. You can have confidence in your retirement with clarity from Jackson. Seek the clarity you deserve at jackson.com. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Support for NPR and the following message come from Rosetta Stone, the perfect app to achieve your language learning goals no matter how busy your schedule gets. It's designed to maximize study time with immersive 10-minute lessons and audio practice for your commute. Plus, tailor your learning plan for specific objectives like travel. Get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off and unlimited access to 25 language courses. Learn more at rosettastone.com/NPR.